want to say that I'm now asking you in the University of Limerick on this day, April 14th, to please welcome on the stage the President of the University of Limerick, Professor Don Barry, the founder of Children in Crossfire, Richard Moore, and I hope you will give a resounding Céad Míle Fáilte to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, visitors, colleagues and students, I am absolutely delighted to welcome you all to the University of Limerick for this marvellous occasion. I know that many of you have travelled long distances to be here, from all over Ireland, from the UK and right across Europe. You are all most welcome. I would also like to give a warm welcome to those who are viewing online. This event is being streamed on the UL website to allow as many people as possible to join in the experience. We are honoured and privileged to have with us today His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. We heartily welcome you, Your Holiness, and thank you for your gracious presence here today. His Holiness is respected around the world as a truly inspirational spiritual teacher whose energy, compassion, and wisdom touch everyone he meets. He is renowned for his tireless efforts to promote the peaceful resolution of human conflict, and his message on the power of forgiveness will have a deep resonance for everyone throughout the island of Ireland. I think I should explain that the scarf I was wearing was placed around my neck by His Holiness as a symbol of the blessings he brings to us all today. This kata has symbols of protection, freedom, compassion, happiness, and love. And I know that all gathered here today are embraced in the good wishes that it embodies. It is fitting that His Holiness should come to you well. We are committed to making our university pioneering and connected, and it is part of our DNA to reach out in pioneering ways to connect with those who need assistance. We genuinely want to serve our communities and make a positive contribution to the lives of our citizens. In this spirit of partnership, I am delighted to see so many representatives of voluntary and community organisations here today, many of whom have collaborated with the university. Our staff right across the university are involved in many community outreach activities that provide educational opportunities for all sectors of society, and UL is particularly involved in the regeneration of our beautiful city of Limerick. Improving the lives of others is also something we have in common with Richard Moore. I think we can all take inspiration from Richard's truly remarkable life story and the charity Children in Crossfire, which he founded to help children in conflict situations. And for making this very special day happen, I want to express my appreciation and indeed your appreciation to Richard for bringing the Dalai Lama to Limerick. Thank you, Richard. And finally, I would like to thank the many teams of staff, students, performers, and external partners who worked so hard to make today's event come to fruition in such a wonderful way. Ladies and gentlemen, I will conclude by expressing, on your behalf, our gratitude to His Holiness for coming to be with us here in Limerick today. It is an understatement to say that we live in troubled times. However, I feel sure that the wisdom and insights we receive from His Holiness's address will serve us well in the challenges that we will face together. Go raibh míle maith agaibh go léir.
Thank you, President. And now we will hand over to Richard Moore, who will introduce His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Richard.
Thank you. First of all, can I take this opportunity to thank the University for making this visit happen. We've met since last June or July to discuss the visit, and the University has cooperated in every way to make this event as special as it can be for Limerick. I would like to acknowledge Eamon, Cregan, Terry Brown, and of course the President, Barry, for all their support and cooperation and assistance throughout the arrangements here. I would like to thank all of you for coming here today, because without you, we wouldn't have an event. And at the end of the day, for me, His Holiness has come here today to see you. I lost my eyesight in 1972, as you know, as a result of being shot and blinded by a rubber bullet. I'm glad to say that the soldier who blinded me is in the audience. And Charles, I just want to say you're very welcome. So Charles and I have built up a good friendship with His Holiness over the last while. But
that person just in front of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I have to say, when I told Eamon Cregan that Charles was coming, he said, "Is he coming to polish the job off?" So I get no sympathy at this university. But, you know, there are many things in my life that have helped me deal with blindness and helped me cope with blindness and deal with losing my sight in such a traumatic way. I always say that if it wasn't for the fact that I come from a good family, a good community, and despite the poverty and the difficulties that existed then, I still had choices and opportunities available to me. The fourth thing about me was the fact that I never felt any anger or any bitterness about what happened. And if you think about anger and bitterness, it wouldn't have affected anybody, only me. I first met His Holiness in 2000 when he came to Derry. And when he spoke, for me, His Holiness's message on forgiveness articulated exactly how I felt. And when we sat together afterwards, His Holiness helped me with my dinner. He poured out my drink, he handed me my knife and fork, and I was totally humbled by this world leader who had so much humility and compassion. And from then on, I've fallen in love with this man. And I openly admit that. During that time, when he was in Derry, I'm not one of those blind people that feel other blind people, or feel other people to see what they look like. But His Holiness said to me, "Do you know what I look like?" And I said, "No." So he insisted that I felt what I looked like. And the only thing I could say to him was, "Your Holiness, you have a big nose." I was saying to His Holiness, or I was saying to you that there was a lot of people that emailed me and with various problems and major difficult lost loved ones through violence and other means. So, if anything, it proved that the decision to bring His Holiness to Limerick was certainly the right one. And I hope that you down there today get the same experience from listening to His Holiness that I had. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the patron of Children in Crossfire, someone that I am humbled to describe as my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come here. Oh. Okay. I think as a sign of respect, I will stand. And also so I can see more faces. Richard Moore, usually I describe my hero. And I really admire his sort of the way of thinking. So, you, and then the leaders of the universities, and perhaps some professors. I think mayor, isn't it? You have this. So, and then basically, I usually describe brothers and sisters. We are same human being. And fundamental level, we are same human being. Mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. Physical level, little differences, the size of nose. As you mentioned, my nose, consider big nose. I don't think it's a big nose.
I will check.
Yeah. Usually, when I met him, you see, because difficult to see, so I usually, let him touch, my face. Yeah. That usually I sort of the way to introduce myself. So he found my nose a little bit big. So that is very important. We must recognize each other as a human being. No differences. Then secondary level, yes, different faith, different color, different nationality. That's a secondary. I think today, a lot of problem which we are facing is, I think, mainly due to we too much emphasis importance of secondary level, forgetting fundamental level we are same human being. And then also today's reality, we must think about entire humanity, humanity of this world, one world. I think when we're facing some problems, if we carry the dealing these problems with a sense we are same human being, my interest related with their interest related to my interest. I always consider I am just one of the nearly now 7 billion human beings. I am part of the humanity. So for my own sort of happy future, entirely depend on the rest of the humanity. No matter one single person, powerful or very rich, still part of the humanity. If the humanity happy, peaceful, more compassionate, and everybody get the benefit. And then now modern economy, global economy, no national boundary, no religious boundary, and also ecology problem, no national boundary, no religious boundary. So that's the reality. So time comes, think for entire humanity, and we must talk on the level of human being. So do you see, I think, through my expression, you may, some extent, you may read, is my sort of mind, right? Yes. My mind. Now, for example, everybody have the feeling of self, I. But nobody pinpoint what that I. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. It's 1,000 years, different sort of tradition, different explanation about self, but still not very clear. But in any way, it's everyone have the feeling of self, feeling of I. And with that, feeling of pains and pleasure. And through that way, by nature, everyone wants happiness, pleasure, joyfulness, even an animal. Same feeling, same sort of desire. And since it's experience of pain, we do not want. So we want to overcome pains, problems. And that's the basis of our concept of human right. Because by nature, we have that kind of desire. So everyone have the right to overcome problem, overcome suffering. Now here I think, on because the human level, I usually, share with people the ultimate source of peace of mind, happiness in mental level is within ourselves, not money, not power, not status. Some of my friends, maybe billionaire, very rich, but as a person, very unhappy person. The plenty of money fail to bring inner peace. And also those people who are very powerful, I think in deep inside, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of fear and distrust. So material value will not bring real inner joyfulness or inner peace. So the only thing is affection or warm-heartedness. That really brings inner strength, self-confidence. That reduces fear. That develops friendship, trust. Trust brings friendship. We are a social animal. The genuine cooperation among each other is very necessary. Genuine cooperation entirely based on trust. Trust is there. Then, naturally bring together. So therefore, once you see within yourself, more compassionate mind, heartedness, whole atmosphere become more positive, more friendly. Through that way, you see, when you look at the front, yes, you feel, oh, my friend. Look this side, oh, friend. This side also. If you keep here fear, distrust, and you yourself make little distance from other, then that person, look here, oh, little suspicion, distrust, more cautious. Look here, again cautious. Look here, again cautious. As a result, deep inside, lonely feeling. Then the problem, blood pressure, too much stress, all these come. One occasion, I think in New York, Columbia University or something, there's one sort of conference with medical scientists. Yesterday, also I mentioned, at that conference, one medical scientist in his sort of was a presentation, he mentioned those people who express often I, my, mine, like that. So such people have greater chance or greater risk of heart attack. He didn't explain why, but I felt it is quite true, as I mentioned earlier. Deep inside, fear, distrust, and you yourself always remain a little distance from the rest of the human brothers, sisters. That brings loneliness. And then difficult to communicate with other human beings. After all, you are a social animal. You are part of the community. You have to deal with them. But the very very factor which your interest or your future depend, because of your own inner weakness, you yourself isolate from them. How can that person be a happy person? So more worry, more stress. Sometimes I describe the too much self-centered attitude, too much selfish, close our inner door. Through that way, difficult to communicate with other fellow human beings. Once develop more sort of sense of concern of well-being of other brothers, sisters, then inner door automatically open. And very easy to communicate with other people. Irrespective whether believer or non-believer, these quality or potential from birth we already have. I think firstly, here, perhaps a few thousand people here, everybody come from our mother. So sometimes in India, some sort of stories, some very great person or some saint, you see, born from lotus. So sometimes I jokingly telling people, so such people may have more compassionate attitude towards lotus rather than human being. But anyway, and fortunately, we born from our mother. So as soon as we born, biological factor. Both sides, mother side and child side, some kind of immense sort of feeling of closeness, trust. So from mother side, because of that strong emotion of loving kindness or affection, brought energy from mother in order to protect or in order to care, in order to take care of our child. That's a biological factor, not come from religion, religious faith. Look, animal, no religion, no constitution, no police force. But biological factor, the mother, like you say, cat or dog or bird, biologically, you see, they have tremendous sort of affection, sense of concern of their offspring. So biologically, we equipped that kind of sort of affection. So any person or any animal who sort of appreciate others' affection, that also have the potential to show affection to others. So that's by nature like that. Then, furthermore, some scientists, too much anger, too much fear, constantly sort of experience that actually eating our immune system. More compassionate mind, very helpful to sustain our immune system. So that shows, because we born through that way, we grown up under others' tremendous affection, care. So therefore, in our blood, some kind of the affection, seed of affection already there. So, a more compassionate mind, our physical element goes very well. Irritative mind not go well with body component. Right? So, we can say basic human nature is more positive, more compassionate. And after all, we are social animal. Even other animals, those kind of social animals, they also have limited altruism because that need for survival. So then we, human beings, because of this intelligence, altruistic mind can extend, right? Can increase, can expand. The compassion, which come from biological factor, that as a seed. Then using our human intelligence, the thinking or the investigation, the pros and cons are there, pros and cons. Then you get conviction, you get awareness. The warm-heartedness is so important. And for the society, for the family, for individual. Individual also, you see, the more compassionate mind, the individual get best sort of the result. Sometimes I joke, half joke, half truth. When I passing through some street, my usual sort of way, I always smile. So sometimes, you see, the people who are a little bit reserved people, and especially, you see, some young girls, when I smile, I think they get some suspicion. Instead of sort of happiness, you see, they look rather, oh, why? This person is smiling at me, that kind of attitude. So that means So, smile, showing other, asking even brother, sister. I feel happy. But that, my sort of compassionate attitude, not necessarily brings some happiness to other. That brings more suspicion, more worry. So, as a result of practice of compassion, the first beneficial benefit go to oneself. So I want to make clear this. Because sometimes people feel, oh, practice of compassion is something good, something nice to other, but not necessarily to oneself. That's a totally mistake. So therefore, from our birth, see, we already equipped. You see this, let's say, this potential. Oh, yes. As a seed of this, you see, biological factor of affection, as a seed, then use human intelligence. That can increase. So there are two levels. One level of quite hot here. Too thick, isn't it? So one, the level of affection or compassion, mainly biological factor. That's very limited and also oriented about others' attitude. That kind of sort of affection goes only your friend or those people who show you positive. Then another level of compassion through training, through using sort of our sort of, because of the intellectual intelligent. As I mentioned earlier, the pros and cons. Then you get conviction. Extreme self-centered attitude is self-destruction. Think more other, that's really bring inner strength. So through these conviction, then deliberately extend our sense of concern, of well-being, not only towards your friend, but also the neutral people. Then finally, even your enemy or your troublemaker. Once your sort of genuine sense of concern, of well-being, reach your enemy, then that compassion is genuine, trained compassion. Unbiased, limitless, infinite. That we can do because of this marvelous intelligence. One example, one Tibetan monk. I know him very well. After 59, he spent about 18, 19 years in Chinese Gulag. So in early 80, he found opportunity to come to India and join his previous monastery. I know him very well. So I just used to talk about his sort of experience during those 18, 19 years. And he told me, during that period, few occasions he faced some danger. I thought danger on his life, maybe. I asked him, what kind of danger? He told me, danger of forgetting compassion or losing compassion towards the perpetrators. Perpetrators. Also those Chinese who guard or something like that. So as a result, such person really, you see, practice infinite compassionate sort of value of compassion. Result, that person mentally very peaceful, very calm. And one occasion, after meeting with scientists, I think last now 30 years, almost annually, we have series of discussion with modern scientists, mainly come from America, and at least 3 universities, Wisconsin University and Emory University, and then Stanford University. Now already, last few years, they carry some program, some research work about the value of compassion, these things, and how much relation with our body and our brain. So, one occasion, which simply, you see, I mentioned this in this sort of the experience, that monk. Then they want to test some of these people. And afterward, you see, they found those people who passing through very sort of difficult sort of period, very difficult life, but their mental state unusually very sort of peaceful. Usually people who passing through such sort of experience, the traumatic sort of experience, then afterward some kind of traumatic experience sometimes happen. So they found that these scientists, after they interview and test, they found, very sort of the peaceful mind. So result, now this particular person, now his age, now 93, 94, still okay, physical okay. So the mental sort of attitude, very important for our health. About 2-3 years ago, I passing through surgery, the gallbladder remove. So since then, I jokingly telling people, I think I mentioned to you or not, I can't remember, but since then, I told, you see my face, same face, but in reality, one important organ of human body missing. So my body, not complete human sort of body. So in any way, usually, you see, they say that sort of surgery takes only 15-20 minutes, they can complete. But my case, 3 hours took 3 hours because of the complication. But then within 6 days, or within 1 week, completely recover. The doctor is surprised, the physician surprised. Wow, although the surgery itself quite complicated, but the recover is unusually sort of faster. So that's my own experience. While I lay down on the surgery sort of table, and a few days in the hospital, I feel okay, not much sort of anxiety, not much sort of problem. So the nurses and the physicians, within a few days, we become a very good friend. I joke, I tease them like that. So they themselves, you see, afterward, they told me, some of the physicians, since our meeting, their whole life is changed. One physician's wife used to tell me, physician didn't tell me, but the wife used to tell me, my husband, before a little bit difficult, but after that sort of surgery, after that way, my husband become much more gentler. So in any way, you see, the more compassionate sort of mind, practice compassion, really benefit not only oneself, and also, you see, create some kind of positive atmosphere. Of course, No, I'm saying these things not sort of I'm something sort of something special. No, nothing. We all have the same potential, same intelligence. It's the same potential. So only thing is, we from childhood we trained. So through training, through study, we pay more attention about our inner value. So you also, see, the only question is pay more attention in our inner value. Then you get, more experience. So usually, when I always listen BBC, so always talk about money, economy, and politics. So, and look, you see, the people sort of, I think the general sort of, the attitude, unless you are seeing some sort of, unless it's something you can see or listen some music, without these things, seems to see some people really feel boring. So whole day, look television and listen music. This, I feel, one indication we are lacking experience, inner value, or looking inward. Simply, you see, thinking about our mind, about our inner value. And through that way, gain more self-confidence, inner sort of peace. Then, these, without seeing, without hearing, simply think, you get immense sort of peace, immense benefit. Through that way, traditionally, people who remain solitude, hermit life, years, because they have the technique, they already know how to bring inner peace through looking inward. Actually, see, there are sort of two categories of happiness and pains. One heavily depends on sensorial consciousness, sensorial experience. Seeing some nice thing, hearing some nice thing, and that brings some inner satisfaction. That kind of satisfaction entirely depends on external means, external things. Now, another level of pains and satisfaction does not depend on sensorial experience. Now, for example, some memory about past sort of experience, feel sort of joyfulness or pain. That's mental level. So these two, mental level experience and physical, the sensorial level experience. The sensorial level, the mental level is more superior. I think, you see, we can examine. Physical pain, sometimes mental sort of peace or mental happiness can subdue physical pain, isn't it? The mental pain cannot subdue by physical comfort. Clear? What? Some sense? What do you think? Okay. So the mental level experience are more superior, more important, more powerful than sensorial level. So now modern education, modern society, I think we too much emphasis about sensorial level experience. I think now time come. Now here also you say, I want to share. I don't know. And anyway, I want to share with you. That is at least 3,000–4,000 years, we human beings, in order to get peace of mind or satisfaction or happiness, we totally depend on prayer. Then last over 2 centuries, science and technology develop. So those things which we want through technology brought immediately. Right? So generally, we pay more attention about science and technology rather than prayer. Last year, in one Indian state, the state government, constructed one Buddhist temple. So he invited me to opening ceremony. So I went there. So then the chief minister, the head of the state government, he in his speech he mentioned, due to Buddha's blessing, his state rapidly will prosperity. Then my turn, speech. I know him very well. So I express, if your state can rapidly prosperity due to Buddha's blessing, then your state much earlier should develop. Because Buddha's blessing lasts 2,500 years already there. But you see, Buddha's blessing entirely depends on able chief minister's hand, I told him. So action really makes change. Prayer will not change. So therefore, you see, the people's interest about science and technology, naturally, much developed. So therefore, as I mentioned earlier, the BBC or this report always talk money like that. Now, later part of 20th century, two fields. One, those real rich people, society, material, affluent material society. Now they begin to feel material value alone not sufficient, something lacking. A few examples, as I already mentioned. That's one thing. Another thing, in the science, the knowledge or research work about neuron or the brain really reach very deep and very sophisticated. Then they begin to show interest, begin to develop interest about emotion, about mind. So, we human beings, not only this body, but there is emotion. So, material value provides comfort for physical level, not emotional level. So therefore, now among the scientists, more and more respected, well-known scientists now really carry investigation about our emotion. how to tackle. So later part of 20th century, begin, how say the genuine interest about our inner value. So then, the modern education system, naturally, 1,000-year-old in the European continent, separate education institutions started. At that time, the moral ethics, the church take the responsibility, and the family also some extent. But now time passes, the influence of the church or the family values also sometimes little decline. So they separate the education institution alone now should carry both responsibility about education, intellectuals, and about moral ethics or warm-heartedness. So you see, there are a lot of people now who really carry some serious research work, how to implement, how to sort of, how to bring, how to brought in modern education curriculum some moral ethics, education of warm-heartedness. So now some research work now carrying like that. So these are, now you see, we people, through our own experience, now we are becoming more mature. So not only pay attention about material value, but also the internal value. So now here, on that respect, various different religious traditions have special role. So I'm very, very happy now here, seeing some, one Jews I noticed using that hat, and then this Uzbekistan, I think Muslim tradition, isn't it? Or your native tradition, okay. So perhaps some Muslim, this is you Jew, Rabbi. There's some, of course, Christian, some Catholic, Protestant. So, yes. So, all these major religious traditions, in spite different philosophical view. In philosophical field, basically two categories: theistic religion, non-theistic religion. Big differences. But all teachings, all sort of faith, emphasis importance of love, compassion, with that forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, contentment. I have a lot of sort of friends among Christian, among Muslim, among Hindu, among Jews, a lot of friends, genuine practitioner. So we have same sort of practice, so same potential to transform human being, human negative mind, transform into more positive mind. So here, when we talk about inner value, moral ethics, various religious traditions have very special role. Now here, I want to share one thing. Religious belief, faith, very important. But now here, we must make this distinction. Faith, one truth, one religion, and several truth, several religions. In terms of individual, one truth, one religion is very relevant. But in the terms of the society, several truth, several religion is very relevant. So now, how to sort of overcome this contradiction? As I mentioned, in terms of individual practitioner, concept of one truth, one religion, very important. In the terms of society or community, Even now, modern society, even a family, there could be a different faith. So therefore, in the terms of the group of people, the several truth, several religion is very relevant. Another thing, one time in Argentina, we have, you see, one meeting, some scientist, some religious leader. The one scientist, one physicist, you see, he mentioned, he is a physicist, but he should not develop attachment towards his own scientific field. I think that's very great. I'm Buddhist, but I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism. Because once I develop attachment, that's one kind of emotion that, you see, if you too much attachment towards your own faith, then your mind becomes biased. Then you can't see the value of other tradition. You must be faithful towards your own tradition, but you should have open mind about other tradition. You should look at other tradition openly, objectively. Then you can see the value. So this, I think, nowadays, in the name of religion, sometimes in divisions, even sometimes conflict happen. So that's not because something wrong about the religion, but because the practitioner, the follower of religion, they themselves too much sort of because of the attachment, right? Like that. That I think important. So in any way, religious harmony, my lifelong commitment. I'm very happy. You see, different spiritual brothers, sisters now here. See, we inspired a different philosophy, different tradition. We all same practitioner about warm-heartedness. So please carry more sort of effective role regarding promotion of inner value. And at the same time, I think nearly 7 billion human beings, entire human being, I think it's very difficult to become a religious believer. That also fact. I think Ireland, Irish people, majority, of course, they, I think, follow Catholicism, isn't it? Yeah. Catholic follow, majority. But there are also, you see, could be non-believer, I think. So, to those believers, if you follow your own religion sincerely, sincerely and seriously, all have same potential to provide you inner peace. But then those non-believer, not much serious about religion. Now, I always try. We should now here, I think the way to promote these inner value, there are 3 ways. Number 1, theistic religion. Believe God. You totally submit to that God. That kind of faith reduces extreme self-centered attitude. Very useful. And like my friend, my hero, so your family, your mother, very religious-minded.
Yes.
Yeah. And taking sort of very, very affectionate sort of attitude towards her son. As a result, the son developed that same potential more alive. So when you face the tragedy, you can handle that tragedy more positive way. So look on his face, very peaceful. No sign of irritation, no sign of anger, no. Nice wife, 2 beautiful daughters, sometimes I jokingly, I tease him. You cannot see the beautiful faces of your wife and two daughters. But I can enjoy their beautiful face. Sometimes I tease him like that. So in any way, as a sort of result of the more sort of familiar about this inner value, this serious sort of tragedy not disturb much in inner sort of inner world. Result, he carry happy life, and not only he himself just look after he himself, but also you see they engage some work for other for those for children. So wonderful, wonderful. When you first introduce the person who shot you, now here, really, genuine sort of some kind of spirit of brother to brothers, I really admire. Little bit surprised. All this not due to money, not due to power, but due to inner value. So these are living examples. So that much I want to. So I usually used to call first theistic religious way to promote this inner value. The second, non-theistic. That's Buddhism, Jainism, and another ancient Indian sort of tradition believe law of causality. That also one way to promote this inner value. Then there should be third one. That's I usually call secular way to promote. Here I must make clear, when I use the word secularism, does not mean disrespect all religions, but rather respect all religion. According to Indian sort of concept, secularism means respect all religions. No preference, this religion or that religion, equal. And then also, according to Indian sort of concept of secularism, also respect a non-believer. So, believe same human being and talk about basic human values. So that also, I think we should not ignore that. I think important. Otherwise, there are people who have no interest about religion, then they also no interest about practice of compassion. They felt these are religious matter. That's totally wrong. Whether you accept religion or not, it's up to individual business. But pay more attention about these inner values. This is your own interest. So sometimes I jokingly say telling people, we are biologically sort of what's today selfish person. Because of the selfish feeling, we survived. But that selfish should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. Taking care about others' well-being. That's the best way to achieve your own happiness, your own successful life. Out of selfish, only think you yourself, extreme self-centered attitude, you will face sugar problem, or blood pressure, or stress, and then eventually a heart attack. Finally, my two commitment, lifelong two commitment. One commitment is promotion of human values, that I already talked. And then second commitment is promotion of religious harmony. That also now here, I really appreciate you come here. Thank you very much. So, So those points which I mentioned, if you feel some interest, then think more. And you yourself experiment and investigate. And then if you feel something, something worthwhile to think, then you carry these things in your daily life. If you feel these points which I mentioned is not much relevant to your life, then forget it, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. We're privileged to have on stage the Irish Chamber Orchestra Youth Chorus. 30 children from Galvone National School, Maria King Presentation Primary School and St. Mary's Boys School. And they've been working with Kathleen Turner from the ICO to consider today's theme, and they've written a special song for His Holiness, which they will now perform.